Welcome to today's webinar. Our webinar series has a lot of different webinars that we have put together for you guys. I'm not sure if everybody's on yet, so I'm gonna start it in 1 second here. Let's see who else is on here. They're jumping in. Our webinar for today is Mapping Your Way to Sales Success, and we are so excited to have you guys here today. People are joining us. Can't wait to get started. See who else is on. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm not sure if they're already on or not, but let's get going. So mapping your way to sales success today, we're going to be talking about prospecting. We're going to be talking about how to create your own Google map. I know that you guys probably have used Google for other prospecting and finding your prospects, but this is going to be an introductory on how to do it. So I hope you guys take a lot from this. I am your presenter today, Vivian Conteria with Entertainment. I want to thank, well, first of all, our webinar series has so much information throughout the year. I want you guys to really take a look at some of these webinars that we have. Our next one is coming up in October, party hosting, but we cover many different topics. Our webinars could not be done without our partnerships. Our partnerships with Semnox, Delta Strike, Betson, BMI, and Roller. We have a few here on the call today. Why don't we start with Elise? Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll move on to Amber, and I'm not sure who else is on.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Vivian. I'm Elise with Roller, and we are just venue management software for the attractions industry, and most of you have seen me on here. I'm a regular. We love being able to support the community of Entertainment and any opportunity for us to all come together, share ideas, learn new things. And thank you for having us, Entertainment, and always bringing us all together. So if you guys have any questions, everyone knows where to find me.
Wonderful. Amber, did you get your sound up?
Oh, can you hear me?
It's working, yeah.
Awesome. So I'm Amber with Betson. We are a games distributor, but we do so much more. So everything from, setup and planning to, helping after the sale. So, but this conversation here about sales is right up my alley. So I'm super excited. Excited to join in.
Well, thank you for being here today. JB, anybody else on?
Not at the moment, that is all.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for your partnership. It really does mean a lot to us to be able to present all these wonderful topics. We're going to move right along, and we're going to start with our poll here today. Our first poll is going to be, how many hours a week do you spend on prospecting? You're going to type in your chat box, less than an hour, 1 to 3 hours, 3 to 5 hours, or 5+ hours. It could be you, it could be your team. Just try to think about how many hours you're really putting into this.
Four, 5+,
Four.
1 to 2, 3. They're all over the place. So it looks like all of them are covered, but everybody's doing something.
Everybody's doing something, at least something. Remember, with prospecting, we really need to focus and make it a priority. So why does prospecting matter in our business? And it's definitely, it is the key. Prospecting is the lifeline of our business, right? We need to make sure that any successful sales strategy includes time and intentional time for prospecting. Key benefits of the prospecting would be regular prospecting. It opens up opportunities for your business, and not only for your business, but for connections as well. It's sustainable growth. The more that you prospect, the more that you're adding to that sales funnel. it has to be an ongoing part of your daily routine there. It cannot just, it's not a one-time thing. And I think that Beth really says that well in her book, Prospect. It is not a one-time thing. It is something that you have to be consistent with. It helps you build relationships. Relationships are really, really important to your business. So we want to make sure that you are building those relationships. And when you do have any kind of issues, why? We're going to talk a little bit about what the barriers are to your prospecting. So what are the biggest barriers that you guys have to prospecting? I want you to type that into your chat box.
Time,
Time. Mm-hmm.
connecting by phone,
Yeah, that's hard, right? Not knowing who you're talking to on the other end.
in-office distractions,
Everything is a distraction. What else?
80% of it is time.
Yeah, so that is the number one thing. So we have a time constraint. So finding the time to prospect can be challenging because you wear so many different hats in your center. Even if you're just doing sales, you're sometimes checking people in, coordinating those parties or those events. So it does take a lot of time to prospect and to do it consistently. That's why one of the biggest things that I use for prospecting, and I let our clients in on, is that time blocking, to make sure that you have some time blocked out that is intentional just for the prospecting. Because if you don't have it blocked out, other things creep in, and it's always, when you're wearing so many hats, something is always more important. Something always comes up that can be more important, and that's a big issue with time, using that time constraint. The other thing could be lack of tools, not really knowing how to go out there and prospect. How do you find these people, right? So like that is a big constraint as well. Any kind of data management issues. So if you're not having a CRM, you're not trying to, make sure that you are using the right tools for the right purpose. One of the things you guys talked about was, not knowing what to say, or the phone calls. So that's, fear of rejection. Like I hate getting out there and doing cold calls. So what are they going to say at the other end? I'm not sure if I've reached the right person. Like all of those things can be really, really hard. Identifying your leads, making sure that you're talking to the right person. All of those things can really hinder your prospecting efforts. And then it becomes a mindset. So when you have a negative mindset to start off with, and it goes all the way back to that initial prospecting, it shows through on your phone calls. It shows through on when you're calling and asking, am I talking, and even knowing if you're talking to the right people. So for today, what we're going to be really talking about is understanding the reason why we have prospecting, why you want to be consistent, and what tools to use. So in Google Maps for prospecting, we're going to talk about why we use some kind of tool to be able to prospect and make it easier for ourselves. And the number one reason is it'll save you time. Instead of just making a Google search, you're going to be putting it onto your own map now. Something that you can keep that data. You could even use your own list to import into Google Maps and have everything pinpointed, so you can see in your area what's around your area, what's within that 5-mile, 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius. So it really does save time to really have a tool that you can use specifically for just the prospecting end. It sparks new ideas. So when we're looking at a map, because it's a visual representation of all the businesses that are in your area, you can see if there's something else that you didn't know about in your area. It's hard to drive around everywhere and see what's there, right? Like you're driving around and you go, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was there. And it's like 2 miles away. And if you think of it in that regard, then the same happens for your business. There's people there that don't know you exist. And they could have been there for 5 or 10 years, but they have never had the need to like book a party. Maybe they were young, it's a young family, they didn't have kids and they didn't know that you were there because they've never really needed to book a party. Now they have preschoolers or older kids, they want to come to your center. So it's when they're looking for you, right? So it sparks new ideas of back and forth on who's in your area. It also builds confidence, and it builds that confidence by knowing that you have a easy list, an easy category list. And when we talk about all the different types of categories, you could put that category into your Google Map. So it builds that confidence. When you call, when you walk into a place, you're able to now know a little bit more about that place that you're going into. You're not going into it so totally blind, because you're going to be doing research not only through Google, but also you could link it up to LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever else you could get some information on that business. We're going to get started. We're going to create our own map here. So we're going to create a map on Google Maps. I'm going to give you a step-by-step direction on creating your own map. But what I want you guys to do is really think about a couple of things. First of all, each business, if you have your own email address, make sure that before you are creating this map, that the email address that you're using is for your business. So let's say it's a sales at whatever, or operations, or whatever that email is. The way that this Google Maps works is that all of that data automatically gets saved to your Google Drive. So you don't want it in your own personal email. You want to make sure that you are logged into a company address. After this call, after the webinar, JB will be sending you out a step-by-step instruction, so you don't have to sit here and write everything down, because I know it can get a little crazy, a little complicated. You know, some people just, I don't want to go too fast, but I'm also not going to go super detailed on here. I'm going to give you an overview. That step-by-step instruction will have all the instructions you need to create your map. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to create a map here. So I wanted to show you here, when you are logged into Google and you see here on your right-hand side, your little maps icon, it's your apps icon right here. You're going to click on that. You're going to go down to where maps is at, and it'll open a map. Now, why I said this is because you want to make sure right here that you are logged in as your business. However it is that if you have multiple addresses on your Google account and you switch back and forth, just make sure that you are logged in, and the one that you are using is going to be your business address. So we're going to go here to Google Maps. So this is going to pull up a Google map for us. This is where I am right now. If you are in a different area, obviously it's going to look different to you, but this is the instructions of how to start your map. We're going to go here on the left-hand side where it says menu. We're going to go to saved. And if you guys have ever started any places that you've wanted to visit or anything like that because you've used it before, this is where it would show up. So in order to create a new map, we're going to come here to the right where it says maps. These are just maps that I've created for clients and just as showing people different kinds of maps, but we're going to create one today from scratch. We're going to create a map, go all the way to the bottom where it says create a map. If you notice this right here, this is Google Drive. I'm going to click on create. So everything that I put on here is going to be saved on my Google Drive automatically. You don't have to do anything. It's the beauty of it. It is a free tool that you can use, and it's going to be saved in your own drive. So we're going to come over here right to where it says untitled map. I'm going to click on that to rename this map. I'm going to call it prospecting. And 2024, let's say. You can put a description if you want, but now this is saved as Prospecting 2024 on my Google Drive. This is my first map. I'm going to select a location. For these purposes, I'm in Florida, so I'm gonna select your Universal Studios or Universal Orlando. Let's do that. Let's say I was Universal Orlando. This is going to be my home base. If this was your business, this would be your home base. You want to be able to see and use your business as the center point of all of your prospecting. So you want to make sure that you select this first and that you create this as a layer first. So as a Universal Studios, I'm going to add this to my map right here to untitled layer where it says that. I'm going to click on right here. It says add to map. And now if you see it, it's right here, right? I'm going to click on untitled layer and I'm going to rename this as home base. You guys can call it whatever you want, home, you know, business, whatever it is that you want. Over here, I'm going to change the color to hot pink on my little pin here because I want to be able to differentiate that location from anything else. And I'm also going to change my icon to a little home. So now if you see it right here, my icon is a little house or home base. That's where I'm at. That's where my business is at. So that's where I want to be searching for my prospects. If you zoom into this area here, you will see yourself on the map as a pink right here. This was my search, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I am right here. Now, we've talked about in prospecting, setting up categories. You can set up different categories in this Google map to make it easier for you to search. So let's say one day I want to just spend time on searching for schools in my area. I want to spend time on searching churches in my area or businesses, local businesses, or maybe factories. However you want to break that down, that's how you would start adding your different layers here. So we're going to create right here, we're going to create an add layer. I'm going to rename that layer to my first category. What do you guys think should be my first category? Sonia, what category should I select?
Schools.
Schools. Let's do schools. You could do schools. You could call it education, depending on what it is that how you want to break it down. It could be K through 8. It could be high schools. It could be colleges. However you want to break that down, or if you want to put it all together. So now I have my home base and I have my schools right here. Now, by knowing where I'm at the map, the easiest prospecting is usually within 5-mile radius of your center. So what we want to do is make sure that when we are searching and adding the phrase near me or near here, near this map. So if you go onto your search bar right here, I want to do schools in the area. And I'm going to do a search. It's going to give me all of the schools that are close to this area because this is what, depending on how far you're zoomed out of your area, it will give you that information for that screen that you're seeing. So all of this, these are all the schools. Now, if you want to see how far a certain school is from your area, they have great tools here. You could select a measuring distance. So from my home base, the first school here is 924 feet, which is really close. Let's see. The next one, let's see, is over here. We're going to measure this one. It's 1.5 miles, so we can measure that. So all of these, you can use a measuring tool to be able to measure how far things are from your location, as well as if you just take that measuring tool and kind of make a radius of, let's say, 10 miles, you will be able to see what fits into that radius. You could do that by selecting your tool here. Unfortunately, Google Maps does not have a circle. I don't know why it doesn't. So usually what I do is I just go like this and I go 10 miles out or 5 miles out if I'm going to start. And I just kind of go around to see who's in with that 5-mile radius. I could add them in there in that fashion. So everything here, you could either select all of these to be added on, or if you want to select one at a time, this one here, if I want to click on this one, This one's giving me Universal Education Center. And it's probably maybe a center for Universal Studios. Maybe that's a drop-off center for some of their employees and things like that. So if I wanted to add them to that map, I'd click on Add to Map. Now, when you click on Add to Map, I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to do one so you can see where the mistake is, and then I'm going to show you how to not make that mistake. So if I click on Add to Map right now, oh, well, it put it on here, but so it put it on schools because I had it selected. But if not, what you want to do is you want to uncheck these boxes, because whatever is checked here, it's going to put it into that category. So right now, I just want to add all of these into my category here. Again, under school categories, I could come back here and change that style pin to, let's say I want all of my schools in yellow. And so now every school that I add onto my list here is going to be a yellow pin. So Sadler Elementary School, add to map. I'm going to change that to yellow. Washington Shores, I'm going to add them to my map. Change that color to yellow. I'm going to give you a few examples here. Now, the other reason that we like to do it this way, so everything is broken down by category. If you look at this Washington Shores Primary Learning Center, you wanted to get some information on them, you could do it right at the moment that you're prospecting. So you would go to their link, which is right here. It'll open up a page and it'll take you straight to their page here. You can look and see who the superintendent is. You can look and see what the employment is, just to find out, is this a good fit for us? Who would I be able to contact? So once I have that information, I could always go back to my list here and edit it. So if you click on the little pencil, edit, you could write a note here. 300 kids, K through 5. Contact Mary Beth, whatever her name is, and put her phone number if you want to on there. It will keep all of this information on here for you. So if you ever look at the map and let's say you are out physically prospecting that day, you could pull up this map on your phone. You could pull it up on your iPad, on any device. It will help you look and see your prospecting that you've already done at the office. Not only that, we talked about looking to see, because it is visual, what else is in that area. Hey, I did not know that there was a Toyota of Orlando right here. I did not know that there was a Costco wholesaler right here. So it is a great way to visually see a representation of everything you need, as well as going through here. And once you have your website open, look them in on LinkedIn. If there's somebody on here that you want to contact, let's see who their board is. Let's see, there's names here, right here. Teresa Jacobs, Angie Gallo. You would just click on them, go over to LinkedIn, try to find them, see if they have any kind of connection with you, and it'll make that first initial call or even a message on LinkedIn be a little bit more personal, because now you've really researched this company. It is not a substitute for a CRM, but I do know that a lot of the smaller centers do not have a CRM. Don't know how to really track those things. So it really does help with tracking. You could also put them into an Excel spreadsheet when you're done. You could import your own list to here to be able to see where things are at. There is an import feature, as well as a base map. If you click on base map right here, so it gives you different layouts. Like if you wanted just to look at it here, you're able to see this as a I think Beth raised her hand. Let's see. Beth, did you have a question?
I did. Is it possible, because you're in Google Maps, to export the information for those who don't have a CRM directly into their contact list in Google Contacts?
It will let you export it out as a CSV file. So then
Okay.
you could import that into whatever other contact base. So just the same
Okay.
way as importing a list, if you have it as a list already, as a CSV list, you could import that list into your Google Maps.
Okay.
it's a little bit more complicated. I wasn't going to show it to you on this webinar, but if you guys are interested, you could always email me, Vivian@trainertainment.net. I will walk you through importing your own list into here so you could take a look at it. Again, there's all different kinds of base maps depending on what you want to see. You could click on the different base map here. If you want to be colorful, if you want to be just have the street view. It really does let you zoom in. I'm going to click on my home base here again. Let's see where I was at. I'm right here. And look how cool this is for finding things. I didn't know, like, you know, seriously, how can you drive around your entire area to see what everything is that's around you, right? So you're able to see who is around me based on just the Google input that they have. And not only that, it lets you do those searches. So we've got two categories. Well, we have the first category here. I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to call this one churches. Let's go under churches. Save. And now I'm going to type here churches in my near me here. Okay. You see that? All my other churches are on here. I want to be able to add these to here as well. This is where I am. This is why I always specify making sure that we have our home base done first, because you want to see how close people are to you. You're searching the map within that specific area. So anytime you type in near me or on this view on the map or anything like that, it's only going to give you what you're visually seeing. So make sure that you are out, you know, zoomed out a little bit, but you don't want to be out there like this because this is what you're going to see. And it's going to be really hard for you to focus on it. So I would say, you know, zoom in, but don't have it zoomed in like too close to that area. You want to be able to see what's in your area here. Okay, so now that we have churches in the area, we could always add those churches by doing the same thing, clicking on them. You could also just come right here. If you want to just add them all, I would just go right here and add all of those churches to my list. And it is doing what I told you it was going to do, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that if you make a mistake and do what I just did. You see how it's all added to my home base layer? You can move all of those back to churches. I would just click on them and then just put them back into church here. You could just drag it to whatever list you want. Because you don't want to have, your home base should just be your own space here. And I was hoping that it would do that because it didn't do that last time, just to show you how to move it. Just take it and slide it down. Take it and slide it down. Take it, slide it down. Until you're just left with your own location. And back to that list again, whether or not you want to add all of them to your list like this and then go through each one and see if they'd be a good fit, this is the perfect searching tool. So you're able to just go back in here, go onto that church website. It's got the phone number right there. You're able to look and see what they do, how they serve, who should I talk to? I mean, you know, for churches, you want to be able to find out who the youth leader, or if they have summer camps, if they have leadership, if they have young adults groups, all of those things that I would tend to think that they'd be really, really important to your prospecting list. So once we start really researching that, again, use this as a multi-function tool where you can go back, search on them through their website, select the person it is that you want, and use use the LinkedIn feature to be able to search for them. This is their youth information on here, their events. Let's see, happening about. Sometimes it talks to you about here, right here. There's even a directory, member directory. Let's see. You'd have to be logged in. Staff right here. So it's giving me who the pastor is, administrative assistant, choir director, most of the time they're all listed on here. Staff would have the youth leaders and stuff like that on there. If they don't, I would just go through and try to get a hold of either the pastor or the administrative assistant. She'll have all the information on who to send you to. But search on them on LinkedIn. It doesn't hurt, right? You might have somebody else that's connected to you. Going back to our map here, now you can have unlimited categories. You can categorize them any way that you wish. To me, it's easier to categorize them as different categories of prospecting. But if you want to categorize them as, just a lump group and then put them into their categories as you go doing your research, make it as easy and functional for you to operate this as you want to make it. The issue is that anytime that things get super complicated or I tell you to do it in a specific way and it's not that easy for you because your brain functions a little differently, I would do it whatever way works best for you. The way that you can organize your thoughts in your head, that's how I would do this. It's mapping. So it's the same way we would map our thoughts and our processes there. Any questions, Beth?
Well, I'm telling you, Vivian, I just have to say it. This is like your superpower. And I've seen you do it, I don't even know how many times. And every time I learn something I didn't know, and I always have a little bit of anxiety about, I don't know what she did. So I'm really happy that we're sending out the instructions, and I would encourage you guys not to be intimidated. Like my wheels are spinning because I know we've got sponsors, and we've got some people that sell capital equipment and stuff like that on the phone too. And so I just had this big thought that if you knew you were going someplace, and we do this in training, if we knew we were going to a particular state or an area, we should, those of us that sell CapEx, we should look up that area, that state, or or 100 miles within a range. And so, Mr. Harmer, that one's for you, because I mean, my head is just spinning, and kudos to you. Gosh, this is your superpower, honey. And I know many times it's so hard to be excited about prospecting, but when you can get a new tool that seemingly makes it easier, it's just amazing. So thank you so much. This is awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I love using this. I use it personally as well. I mean, you could create personal maps. Let's say you are traveling. Let's say you're doing a road trip or something like that. You can create, your own personal map with all of the stops that you want to see on there and put all of that information in your map so that then you can access it later on. But I love what you're saying, Beth. A lot of times we're traveling, or we're doing a trade show, or we're going to go see a client. I want to see who's around that area. That's another FEC. I want to just stop by and say hi and visit them. So this is a great tool to be able to use and put all of your data on here. Again, for centers that have a CRM, you could put links to it as well. So if you have a location on here, you can take that link, copy that link over to your CRM, and put on the notes, I called them, here's their link, here's, so that Google pin, it just links you back to your map with all that information on there. And I have to say that now with ChatGPT and all of these AI tools that are out there, it has gone, this is mapping. I mean, there is mapping on steroids, you guys. There is mapping on steroids. There are things in AI called data scrapers that you can go in and select things like all the schools in the area. It will scrape the data that we're looking at right here and put it into an Excel spreadsheet for you with their phone number, with their email address, with all of that stuff. So it really, it's taking it a notch further. And I think that every little step that you go, it gives you more and more tools. It makes you a little bit more confident about your prospecting. So I think it's really, really important just to start with the basic map and then go building on it. Google it. Google, data scraping, data mining. It will give you information on email addresses and things like that for the people that may not even have them listed. but they're listed somewhere on the web, somewhere in the dark web it's listed. So it will come up as data scraping on there as well. And again, you can create as many maps as you want, name them different things. As long as they're named differently, you can create as many maps as you want. Add as many categories as you want on here to make it easy for yourself. Once you're done with your map, let's say that I am completely done for today working on my map. I could click on preview here. It's going to give me my preview to my map. Okay. It's giving me my home base, which is where I'm at right here. It's giving me the schools that I added today. It's giving me all the churches that I added today on my map. Why is this important? Because it's a great accountability piece as well, right? So if you are working in a team or you're working at a center and your boss wants to know, hey, what have you been doing? Look, these are all the people that I've added. And it's visual. It makes it really easy to be able to see what it is that you're working on with those notes, right? So again, it's if you do not have a CRM, this is another great way to just be able to do that prospecting, be accountable, be visible, show everything that you've worked on. And then now you can take that map and you can share it. So you can share that map with your team. You can share it via email. You can embed that map if you wanted to for some reason. If you have an intranet or something like that, obviously you don't want your prospects on your list, but sometimes people do have a intranet or something like that that you could put on there. So once you are done, you could share this map with your team. I would click on share right up here. You could add who you want to share it to. And then right here, if you look at it, right now it's restricted. So only people with access can open the link. So that's just to view it, right? If you wanted people to actually be able to add more things to it, if you're working on it as a team and they have to log on to this, you want to make sure that you are putting this on there that's not restricted. So right here, you would select on editor, like anybody on my team could edit this map. And then you would click on done and send it. You could add just one email address on here, however it is that you want. You could also just copy the link for it. Link copied, you could just share that in there. So now why is this great? Because now you're out on the road. I'm in my car and I only have my Android phone. I sent this link to myself. I'm going to open it on my Google Maps on my phone. And now I have all of my prospecting tools right there, very handy. If you're not using an iPad or something like that, the phone works great on it. You're able to view everything that's in your map. You're able to go to that first place, and then it saves you that time to be able to go, I'm going to take this drive around this way instead of going zigzagging all my way across, and you're using extra mileage, you're using extra gas, time. If you only have a few hours to do this, this will definitely help in that timing issue. Click on done here. So now my map is complete here. Again, since it is a visual representation of everything that's in your area, you're able to take a look at what else, make things that you didn't even think about, right? Sometimes it's a whole office building, or look, there's a U-Haul storage. Great to be able to get a couple of U-Hauls to come out there and do some team building, or a dealership, or let's see what else is here. A nail spa, window tinting. Most businesses are already listed on here. Every once in a while, you'll come across some that are new, that haven't been listed. In addition to that, maybe they just didn't list it when they open. It may not be new, but they never took the time out to list it because they're a self-proprietor or something like that. So it really does give you a lot of information on not only knowing what to type as your category, but just visually seeing what else is out there. So if I see that there's a lot of representation on factories around me, maybe I want to do a layer and call that factories and put all the factories that I find in there, and then do a search for that as well. Maybe I missed one. Nail salons, pediatricians, orthodontics, like if you are a center that has kids 10 and under, you want to make sure that you're looking for all possible ways or all possible prospects that deal with kids under 10. That could be, you know, taekwondo or judo or ballet studios or sports facilities or, you know, anything that deals with that, and including the schools and churches, of course. But it does give you a lot more freedom to be able to look and see what else is out there that you could add onto your list. Okay, well, this is the basic map. Instructions are going to be coming your way. Anybody have any questions or any comments that they'd like to make on any questions on the mapping? Raise your hand and anybody? Jibby?
Not as yet.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for being here today. It has been my pleasure to present this to you, and I hope you got a lot out of it. If you have, yes, Beth. You're muted.
One person wants to know.
So the thing that I would share with you, one of the first questions that Viv asked was about prospecting and your time to prospect. And the challenge is that without a prioritization of the time to prospect and to seek new business, it will always fall to the back burner. We can all listen. I've been in sales all of my life, and prospecting can be the thing that, I mean, listen, it's just easier to take inbound calls and to work on what's hot. It just is. But if you're going to set yourself apart as a sales professional, if you're going to help build your business to heights that are unimaginable, I challenge you, encourage you to spend 20 to 25% of your 40-hour work week, or if you're part-time, 20 hours, to spend 20 to 25% of your time intentionally working on prospecting. And I don't mean making your map. I mean make your map and go
And then call.
That's right. Make your map and either get in the car. If you feel like you do better in front of people, and we probably all do, you know, think about it. We all have a better ability to connect with people when we're face to face with them, because then we can get feedback about their expression or their tone or the great shirt they have on. Don't think my shirt's great today. Anyway, I digress. But so in a 40-hour work week, guys, that's 8 to 10 hours. And I'm going to just encourage you, when you start to plan your week, book those 8 to 10 hours first. Because if you think every day, you know, I'm gonna do 2 hours worth of sales, prospecting, and you don't book the time for it, it is not going to happen. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes maybe it's a power hour. You hook up with somebody on this call and say, hey, would you be my accountability partner and do at least 2 power hours with me next week? So anyway, I appreciate you again, Viv. God, what a great job. I just love it. I'm always so inspired by this training.
We do have a question.
I thank all of you for coming.
Go ahead.
Esther wanted to know if there's an easy way to get the phone numbers from the businesses on the map.
Yeah, the numbers are listed on there on the web. If you click on it on the map, it will have all the information, including that center. So let's see here. Let's go back to Sadler Elementary School. Let's see, Presbyterian Church. I don't know why it's coming up behind here, but let me see. It does not want to go forward. On each individual pin, there will be a phone number on there. So whenever you click on your you know, pin, it'll have a phone number that you could call. I would start off with going to the website first, because obviously that's their main number, but they may have other numbers listed for that person. So before you just go in there and get that number and call, go to the website and see if it's the right person that you should be talking to. It'll eliminate some of that going back and forth if you're at least calling the right person, the right number the first time. If not, go ahead and call that main number and ask them, I need to get the number for, the person that books those events, or do you have an HR person in your staff, or whoever it is that you want to be asking for there. And then again, go back to LinkedIn and try to look them in and look them up as well. See who could make an introduction to you.
There's also
other
a question, that who is the best person to ask in a corporation for booking parties?
Can I answer? Y'all never want me to come, I know, because I love to take it over. So everybody thinks they ought to ask HR, and they shouldn't. HR is dodging calls all day long because they're trying to not have to deal with people who are calling to say, did I get the job, or are you hiring, blah, blah, blah. So you want to call, and whomever picks up the phone, you want to say, hey, this is Beth from Trainer Entertainment Family Fun Center. I'm trying to figure out who's the fun manager at your place, who's in charge of fun, who books events and that sort of thing. That that be your owner, or is there somebody else that manages all that? And listen, if they're short with you, if they won't tell you, just hang up and call back in about 30 minutes and say, could you please pass me over to somebody in sales, or go look up who the sales manager is of the location, because every business in the entire world will put you through to sales, because sales always wants to talk to somebody, because they're always trying to sell something. And the salesperson that you get a hold of will absolutely know who the manager of fun, who plans events in the organization. And quite frankly, the sales team, they love to go do team building and party things. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. Any other questions? I love that, Beth. No more questions?
No more questions. No more questions.
I'll have another meeting. It was great to see y'all.
Thank you. Well, we love your feedback. Everybody who is on the call, if you want to take a quick little screenshot of this QR code, we'd love to get your feedback. That's how we get better, and we have better topics. We are planning our 2025 webinar series right now. So if you have any suggestions there, go ahead and send that in. Also, for everybody on the call today, we had just released a couple of weeks ago our marketing and promotions guide. This is full of information for you guys. It does have the Google Maps on there as well. It has ChatGPT, scripts, marketing. It has also a resource page that you can download some of the artwork for events and things like that. So today, use Guide 24 for 25% off. And again, we want to thank everybody who makes this possible. Semnox, Delta Strike, Betson, BMI, Roller, Elise, and Amber, thank you so much for being on today. And if anybody has any questions, please email me at vivian@trainertainment.net. Thanks for being here today.